Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zaire, and today I wanted to share some things that I wish I knew before I lived in my first apartment alone. I'm an only child, so I'm kind of used to being alone, and I've always been alone. But I feel like if you've had siblings or you're just used to having a lot of people around you, living alone for the first time definitely can be a daunting experience. Even as an only child, I will say that it was weird for me at first, but I quickly adjusted and I love living alone. Living with others is great as well, but I do think that at least at one point in your life you should experience living alone. I feel like you get to know yourself so much better when you do live alone. So the first tip that I wish I had known, which I feel like you know and is something that you're excited about in the very beginning, but that's cooking. If you are someone who likes to cook, at first it's going to be really exciting. You have your own space, you can cook and make whatever you want, but the con to that is portion sizes. I'm used to cooking for like 2 to 3 people, so whenever I would cook food, I would have leftovers that would last me like a week and a half, and then I would end up having to freeze some because I wouldn't be able to eat it all. And then after a couple of days of eating the same dish, you get bored, and then you kind of like start to hate your own cooking. Or at least that's been the case for me. I do know that when I first lived alone, I did a lot of cooking, but as time has progressed, at this point I've lived alone for a little over a year now. I don't really cook that much. Honestly, Trader Joe's frozen meals is my best friend, and you could just like pop it in the microwave or pop it in the oven and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about dishes, you don't have to worry about cooking, you don't have to worry about leftovers. It's just one meal, you're good, you're done. In terms of cooking, if you do plan on cooking, which I think is just like financially the most like savvy decision to make, eating out is expensive. Even as one person, it is expensive, especially nowadays with inflation. Cooking at home is definitely what's most cost affordable. I tend to keep things very simple. I'm okay with eating like rice and veggies, or like rice and meat and veggies, so I don't really make elaborate dishes the way that I used to when I lived with other people. Now I just like eat to satisfy my hunger, and then I focus on like snacks. So I don't like make elaborate meals anymore. Now I have like a lot of snacks, which is like a pro and a con. As long as you have self-control, I feel like you should be fine. But I do have a lot of sweets, and I do have a lot of chips. I do prefer savory to sweet, so yeah, I do have a huge snack cabinet, which I'm proud of. I've never really had like a lot of snacks growing up, which isn't a bad thing. My parents were just like on the healthier side when it came to snacking, so I'm definitely making up for that now that I live alone. In correlation with cooking comes dishes and cleaning. I have a dishwasher, but I grew up in a household where we wash our dishes by hand. So if you're like me and you grew up with that similar dynamic, my dishwasher is literally my drying rack for my dishes. I do most of my dishes like 100% of the time by hand. But even though you're one person, you will realize that the dishes slowly creep up, and then before you know it, your sink is full, and then you're just like, well, what the heck, like who made all these dirty dishes? But it's literally just you. And then at the end of the night, after you come home from school or work or both, you don't want to do dishes. And honestly, the thing that's helped me the most is do your dishes before you go to sleep. That way you can wake up to a clean kitchen, your sink is empty, you're good to go. That's been something that I've implemented, as well as with like doing my dishes at the end of the night. I try to do like a quick sweep of my kitchen. My apartment, I haven't given you guys an apartment tour, but it's like carpeted for the most part. It's a studio, so it's like pretty tiny. And the only part of my apartment that has like hardwood floors, but it's like faux wood, is my kitchen area and my bathroom. So I try to sweep that every single night, just like a light sweep, nothing major. And I have one of those like, it's not Swiffer, but it's one of those like spray mops. So you like use it and spray it at the same time, so you don't have to like use a bucket and all that. I do that once a night as well, if not like every other night or every 3 days. That will help with like you not having to do as much work on your deep clean days. And I tend to do a deep clean at least once a week because I'm very affected by my environment. So if my apartment is chaotic and messy, I just feel like I have no connection to earth, and I'm stressed and overwhelmed, and I start to get anxious. So I try to keep my place as tidy as possible. Also, I just like enjoy feeling comfortable in my space. So I have a lot of diffusers and incense burning all the time. I have candles. You can't see it right now, but I have like string lights all around the border of my studio. I'm very into having my space be cozy and somewhere where it's like my sanctuary. And going into making your space your sanctuary, that brings in the topic of furniture. I will say do not buy the most expensive things and don't buy everything all at once, because when you move out and you're completely on your own financially, everything is expensive. You have to remember you're paying electricity bills. Some places you have to pay for water. I don't pay for water, but I pay electricity, for my internet, for my rent. I have a car, so car insurance, my car payment, gas is rising again. So living on your own is very expensive, as well as food. And then just like hanging out with friends, if I want to go out to eat or grab drinks, everything is expensive. So buying furniture for my space was buying the necessities. So I bought a bed, and I bought my bed off of Amazon for like less than $200. The mattress again was also from Amazon, around $200. So I spent maybe $400 on my bed, and it's like a wooden framed bed, and the mattress is actually pretty comfortable. It has like an inch or two of memory foam. So yeah, I got my bed, and then I got the couch that you see me sitting on right now. And this couch was on sale for, I believe, between $300 to $500, and it's like a little L-shaped couch. I'm on the smaller L part. But yeah, I got the couch, the bed, and then that was pretty much it. I have artwork that I've collected through the years, as well as painted throughout COVID. So I have that hung up, as well as the string lights. You can buy a bunch of candles. I bought like the little tea light candles from Amazon, a 200 pack for like 20 bucks. And that like was enough for me to like feel comfortable in my space to begin with. I always have incense, so just like having the incense burning, having my tea lights, my candles, my fairy lights, my bed, my couch. I already had like my blankets and pillows and stuff like that. So I think it also helps that I had a lot of small things I was bringing with me that already felt homey to me. So I didn't have to go out of my way to like buy a bunch of small stuff, because I was already starting off with stuff that I had collected over the years while living at home. So yeah, don't spend so much money all at once. It's very exciting, but it can get very expensive if you're trying to like deck out your apartment, like to make it your dream apartment as soon as you move out. I would say invest over time, collect things over time, and really enjoy the process, because this is your first place and this is your first time decorating your own space. So you don't have to like rush into a niche or like an aesthetic or style. You can take your time and like build it as time goes by. And I feel like when you take your time in terms of decorating your space in your apartment, it shows, and it just feels like more natural and more cozy, which is something I'm all about. All right, going into, I guess, the more stressful side of owning your own spot. I kind of went over that slightly when I mentioned like bills and stuff like that, but I will repeat it again. Everyone's situation is different in terms of finances, but when you move out and you plan on staying independent and not going back home, I would recommend creating a budget. Like I said, once you first move out, everything is really expensive when you first move out, because you have to put down a security deposit, sometimes last month's rent, as well as first month's rent. So you have to do that. Then you have to set up your Wi-Fi and your internet. You have to join like a Wi-Fi company. You have to get your lights situated. All of that is expensive, as well as like buying a bed, unless you're bringing a bed, and like buying a couch, pots, pans, cups, forks, spoons, water filter, every single thing, shower curtains, bathroom supplies, cleaning supplies. All of that adds up, and that first 2 or 3 months, those are going to be your most expensive months in the moving process. So save as much as you can and buy things that are of good quality, but don't try to like spend too much money too quickly, because you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to feel like you have a space that's your own, but you're literally going to bed starving every night because you don't have any money besides to pay your lights and rent, the roof over your head. So be very smart when it comes to budgeting. You don't have to have like a luxurious apartment the first time you move out. You could just get something that you know you're gonna feel comfortable in and confident in terms of the environment and the location. That's another thing. You want to focus on your location. You'd want to be able to like be comfortable in and out of your apartment. You don't have to worry about like burglaries or walking to your car or taking the public transit and not feeling comfortable with that commute. So keep that in mind as well. But honestly, all of that to the side, I think it's so important, especially as women, to live alone at least once in your life, because you only have a small chunk of time before you take on responsibilities. And what I'm about to say, not everyone is going to do, and if you don't want to do those things, that's totally okay. You can live alone forever and really enjoy life that way. But if you're planning on getting in a relationship or having kids or working a more high intense job, and you're building this life that's involving other people, and you're eventually maybe going to bring life into the world and have children of your own, you will never live alone again for like a really long time. Or especially you won't live alone in this period of your life ever again. Like you'll never be able to recreate those moments when you're in your early 20s, if you are, or early 30s, the way that I am, or just like 20s and 30s in general. You're never going to have these moments again, your youth, to like have your friends over and just drink wine and eat cheese and watch a movie, or just go home after work and drink wine and eat cheese and watch a movie, or just like sing karaoke all day long if you want, or you could go days without talking. That's one thing I actually really like about living alone, is I can go days without talking, and it kind of becomes a problem because you're just like, how long can I go without speaking a word? But for me, it usually doesn't last that long because I do have a cat and she does like to talk to me, and if I don't like respond back to her by like calling her name, she will feel neglected. So it's never that long for me, but really this is the time in your life to explore and really get to know yourself and just have fun with it. I think people do get scared in terms of the idea of living alone, but once you jump into it and after you've like reached that 4 to 5 month mark, you literally will question if you can ever live with someone ever again. And especially if you're coming from a roommate situation after having moved out of your guardian's house or parents' house, you're gonna be like, there's no way I could ever mix again, because I moved from my parents' house, or I moved from living with my mom to then moving across the country and living in a quad apartment with 3 roommates and 3 animals that were not my own, to then living in a studio apartment. And after living alone for this duration of time, it's gonna be really hard to move in with someone. I know it's possible. I do enjoy living with people, but I really do enjoy living alone. So you get the best of both worlds, and until you've experienced it, you won't know what I'm talking about, which is why I hope and I really push for everyone to experience living on your own, at least for a certain amount of time in your life, because you don't know if you're ever going to get this moment or chance again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more content related to like living alone and stuff like that, let me know. Again, I'm an only child, so I'm used to being alone, but even if you're not an only child, I think that is even more reason for you to experience living on your own. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to comment down below if you are moving out for the first time. Let me know. It's very exciting, but also like it can be daunting, but I love to know where you are in your process, or yeah, where you are in your like progress in terms of moving out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.